Okay. In this video, we are going to discuss logarithmic, the basics of logarithms. The first thing that we are going to discuss would be the validity of a log. What are the conditions that make a log valid? So, for example, if I have log a base b, okay, my value of a should be greater than 0, my value of b should be greater than 0, and my value of b should not be equal to 1. Okay, b is known as the base, a is the value of the log, or you can say that the value inside the log, sorry. Okay, we have a few examples over here. We're going to test our conditions and suggest if the log is valid or not. So over here, I have log 5 base 3. So the value inside the log is 5. Iska matlab hai my value of a is greater than 0. 5 is greater than 0, so a is greater than 0. My value of the base is 3, and iska matlab hai b is greater than 0 as well, and b is not equal to 1. Iska matlab hai my log is valid. Okay, the log is valid. Let's talk about the second example. In the second example, my value of a is greater than 0. My value of b is less than 0. So my value of b is less than 0. So my log is invalid. Any of these conditions is not true. Your log would be invalid. Let's talk about the third example. Over here, your base is 1. If your base is 1, again, your log would be invalid. So yeah, तो आपका यहाँ पे भी log invalid हो गया since your base is 1. Even though the value inside the log, which is 5, that is greater than 0, इससे फर्क नहीं पड़ता. Any of these conditions is not true, your log will be invalid. For this, you have log under root 3 base 4. All of these values are greater than 1. A is greater than 1. B is also greater than 1. ठीक है, and b is not equal to 1. इसका मतलब है आपका log जो है वो valid है. So yeah, for question number 5 में I have log 4 base under root 2. Again, the value of a is greater than 0, the value of b is greater than 0, and the value of b is not equal to 1. So this log would also be valid. Now this is a past paper question. Over here it is given that y equals to log x plus 3 base a plus log 2x minus 1 base a. It's saying explain why x must be greater than half. क्या x की वैल्यू हाफ से बड़ी क्यों होनी चाहिए? तो अगर आप यहाँ पे देखें तो हाफ से बड़ी वैल्यू, तो यहाँ पे इस वाले ब्लॉक को तो कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ेगा. बट इफ आई हैव अ वैल्यू less than half, value of x less than half, this value inside the log would be less than 0. ठीक है, तो ये वाली जो वैल्यू है ये less than 0 हो जाएगी. I can take an example. If for example if I take the value of x as 0, ठीक है, तो मेरे पास क्या हो जाएगा, ये जो वैल्यू हो जाएगी that would become -1. ठीक है, -1 would make this log invalid. इस log को ये वैल्यू invalid कर देगी. So any value which would be less than half, which goes inside this log, it would make that this log invalid. So yeah, so for this log to be valid, we're going to write for this log to be valid, for log 2x minus 1 base a to be valid, x has to be greater than half. Okay. Now we're going to discuss the change of base law. Change of base law states that we can introduce, for any given log, we can introduce a new base. Okay, so we can have a few examples for the same log. For example, I have log 5 base 5. I can 5 base 4. I can write log 5 base 4 as log 5 to the base 3 divided by log 4 to the base 3. If I have log 5 base 4, I can write log 5 base 4 as log 5 to the base 2 over log 4 to the base 2. इसकी भी मैं बेस चेंज कर सकता हूँ, तो इसको मैं लिख सकता हूँ log 5 to the base pi over log 4 to the base pi. One thing that you need to notice over here is कि मैंने क्या किया है, I have introduced a new base. Okay, now my base is 3, my base is 3 over here, my base is 2, my base is 2 over here, my base is pi, my base is pi over here. Though the value inside the log, that is in my numerator, the base is in my denominator. ठीक है, the same goes for this as well. ठीक है, and this as well. एक चीज बस आपको याद रखनी है, whichever base you introduce, you have to keep your bases same. This is base 3, this has to be base 3, and this is base 2, this has to be base 2, this is base pi, this has to be base pi as well. So yeah, we have some other examples as well. हमारे पास, if I have log 6 base 3, I can write that as log 6 to the base 2 over log 3 to the base 2. Similarly, I can write log 6 base 3. इसको मैं एक और कोई नई अपनी तरफ से कोई बेस इंट्रोड्यूस कर सकता हूँ, which can be log 6 to the base let's say 7 over log 5 to the base 7. ठीक है, you can do these yourself as well. You can introduce another base and you can get the answers. ठीक है, आई एम नॉट डूइंग दिस. आप इसको अपनी मर्जी से आपको कोई और बेस चेंज करके लिखनी है. यू कैन राइट log pi to the base 4 upon log e to the base 4. ठीक है, log pi to the base 4 upon log e to the base 4. ठीक है, यहाँ पे भी आप कोई बेस चेंज कर सकते हैं. इट डिपेंड्स ऑन द क्वेश्चन में क्या रिक्वायर्ड है. all of it depends on that. चेंज ऑफ बेस लॉ में यू कैन गो इन द रिवर्स डायरेक्शन एज वेल. ठीक है, यानी मेरे पास अगर log 5 base 6 है upon log 3 base 6 है, I can write that as, since my bases are the same, so I can write that as a single log 5 base as the value inside the denominator. So this would be 3. Over here I'm going to write log pi is in my numerator and 4 is in my denominator, pi base 4, and I can change this as log 6 base 5. ठीक है, क्योंकि base 7 same है. ठीक है, तो I can write this as log 6 base 5 using the change of base law. Change of base law की एक और property है कि if I have log a base b, I can write log a base b as 1 upon log b base a. ठीक है, so बस इसको क्या करना है कि हम लोग डिनोमिनेटर में पूरे log को as it is डिनोमिनेटर में लिख देंगे, इन दोनों को रिवर्स कर देंगे. ठीक है, यानी a b की जगह आ जाएगा और b a की जगह आ जाएगा. If I have log 5 base 6, I'm going to write this as 1 upon log 6 base 5. If I have log 7 base 2, I can write that as 1 upon log 2 base 7. ठीक है, common log क्या होता है? Common log is log to the base 10. We're going to represent the common log as LG. So if I have LG4, इसका मतलब है कि I can write that as log 4 to the base 10. If I have LG6, I can write that as log 6 to the base 10. I'm writing this just for explanation. You don't need to write it like this in your paper. Okay. Natural log क्या होता है? Natural log is log to the base e, ठीक है, and that is represented by ln. Okay, so if I have ln6, I can write ln6 as log 6 to the base e. If I have log ln2, I can write that as log 2 to the base e. If I have ln pi, sorry, I can write that as log pi to the base e. Another property that you need to remember, if my value inside the log and the base is the same, ठीक है, my answer would be 1. For example, if I have log 5 base 5, that would be equal to 1. If I have log sorry, ये तो मैंने यूज कर लिया. If I have log pi base pi, that would be equal to 1. And you can use other examples as well. So for the same reason, you're going to have log 10 LG10 to the base 1, LG10 equals to 1 and ln e equals to 1. Why? Because LG10 is just log 10 base 10, which would be 1 obviously, and ln e क्या होता है? ln e is log e base e, which is also equal to 1. One thing that I forgot to write was the formula for the change of base law. Change of base law ko you can write change of base law as log a base b equals to log b a base c upon log b base c. Okay. Okay. Coming back over here, I have a log 1 to the base a. Whenever the value inside the log is 1, your answer is going to be 0. Okay, so your log 1 to the base a is 0. You have lg1, which is also 0. Okay, you can have ln1, which is 0. You can have different bases, but if the value inside the log is 1, your answer is going to be 0. Okay, so log 1 base 5 is also 0. Log 1 base 7 is also 0. Okay. Now power law. Power law states that if the value inside the log has some power, okay, we'll take that as x. My base can be anything. So that power can become my coefficient. Okay, the coefficient of the log. So I can write this as x log 7 base 2. Okay, we can take another example over here. that states that if I have log, let's say 2 log 4 to the power 5 base 3. So yeah, so my power of the value inside the log, my power of the value inside the log can get multiplied with the coefficient of the log, and that would make it 10 log 4 base 3. Now, there's one misconception, which is this. If I have log 7 base 2 whole power 4, okay, I cannot bring this 4 when multiplied with the coefficient. Why? Because this power has been applied to the whole log, not just 7. Okay? If the power was applied to 7, only then I can move this 4 and multiply it over here. So yeah, so you cannot write this as 4 log 7 base 2. This is a very common error. Please remember that. Okay? This is wrong, absolutely wrong. What does the product law states? Product law states if I have log x base a plus log y base a, I can multiply both the values inside the log, keeping my base same. Okay, so I can write it as log xy base a. So yeah, let's take a few examples. If I have log 5 base 4 plus log 6 base 4, I can write that as 5 into 6, which is equal to 30. My base would be the same, which is 4. I can write this as log 30 base 4. Take another example. If I have log 2 base 5 base a, okay, plus log 3 base a, I can write that as log 6 base a. Okay, now quotient law. Quotient law आपको समझ में आ ही गया होगा quotient law क्या कहता है. Quotient law states if I have log x base a minus log y base a, I can write that as log x upon y base a. ठीक है, तो log x upon y base a. ठीक है. One thing that you need to remember is that your bases, if your bases are same, only then you can apply both of these logs. Otherwise you cannot apply any of these laws. ठीक है, इसके अलावा आप अगर bases same नहीं है, you cannot apply these laws. Remember that. Okay. It can work in both the ways. You can either go from this to this direction or this direction to this direction. ठीक है. If I have let's say if I have log 5 base 4 minus log 10 base 4, I can write that as log 5 upon 10 base 4. ठीक है, this will come first and minus के बाद वाली value बाद में आएगी, denominator में आएगी. So yeah, so I'm going to get, my answer would be log 1 upon 2 base 4. So yeah, okay. Now if I have log 5 base 3 minus log 10 base 3 plus log 7 base 3. Quotient law is always preferred over the product law. So you'll apply the quotient law first and then you're going to apply the product law. पहले क्वोशंट लॉ, पहले प्रोडक्ट लॉ नहीं लगाना. ठीक है, सो आप इन दोनों पे प्रोडक्ट लॉ नहीं लगाएंगे. You're going to apply quotient law first on these two and then you're going to apply the product law. So yeah, so what my answer is going to be, well, okay, so I'm going to get 5 upon 10 if I apply the quotient law, 5 upon 10 base 3. So yeah, plus log 7 base 3. This would stay as it is. Now I can multiply this 7 with 5 upon 10. So yeah, so 7 multiplied by 5 upon 10 would be 35 upon 10. So yeah, this will become log 35 upon 10 base 3. And you can write this as log 3.5 base 3. So yeah, if you would have done it the other way around, and if you would have applied the product law first, तो आपके पास जो answer आता, that would have been log 5 base 3 minus log 70 base 3, okay, and log 5 upon 70 base 3 हो जाता. So one thing that you need to remember, that you always need to remember, is that you have to apply the quotient law first and then you have to apply the product law. So yeah, so this is wrong. ये जो हमने किया है यहाँ पे, ये बिल्कुल गलत है. In the next series of videos, we're going to solve more questions. We're going to convert from logarithmic to exponential form, and then from exponential to logarithmic form. We're going to look at the few basic logarithmic equations, how to solve them. And then we're going to move further, discussing product law and quotient law and the change of base law and the product law. Okay. So thank you. And Khuda Hafiz.